I was muted. I apologize. Here's a replay of what just happened.
You mean we can't get out?
This bear. And I can't say that because it was too early in the video. But yeah, here we are. We're on the 5th floor. What's going on, guilty guys and gals? I guess I have to say that again, too.
You're better off not seeing.
What's going on, Ray? Teruya?
Oh, Yuki, you here to investigate?
Yeah, I examined all the rooms on the 2nd floor dormitory and the 4th floor of the school. Everything that'd been locked, anyway. This should be the last place.
This damned bear is keeping us from entering.
Yeah, I'm really doing it for your sake. If you open this door now, you'll regret it.
Don't be ridiculous. What about this is fair for the investigation? Does it contain something so important, and you're doing this because you're afraid that we're gonna actually win?
That's not it. I'm doing it to help you.
Why is Monokuma acting like this all of a sudden? There must be something in this new place, but...
If I could use violence, I could make him go away with force.
You should never enter here.
Why am I doing this voice? This is like not even the right...
You should never enter here. It'd be unfair to you all.
This bear is so annoying. How long are you gonna keep lying?
What's the issue? Just let them in.
You weren't even facing us.
What's the issue? Just let them in.
It's like, what was that?
They said they were going to enter voluntarily, so there's no need to stop them now.
Akane.
Miss Akane, or Miss Tyra, is that really okay? That's a huge spoiler. If these people win the trial anyway, they'll return safely. I prepared a helicopter. So there's no problem, right? Above all else, this class trial isn't a place we're used to every day, but something else. You'll find out if you go in there. Don't you think it's better to know in advance? Is that so? Well, if Miss Tyra says so.
Helicopter? What are you talking about earlier?
Well, I suppose it'd be better to see it with your own eyes. I'll say, it will definitely blow your minds.
Okay.
Monokuma, who'd been stubbornly blocking the door until just a moment ago, suddenly changed his attitude and opened it easily. And the landscape waiting for us on the other side of that door?
It's a trial ground, right? Oh, no.
Huh? The expansive green forest, the vast blue sea, the bright sun that had just started to rise. It wasn't artificial light, but real sunlight. It's been about a month since I've seen such dazzling illumination.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Oh, what is this? The outside?
So the complex is underground? Oh, I did not know that.
Here?
This is ridiculous. Beyond that door wasn't a room. It was the outside. The air I felt on my skin was proof.
Ah, what a wonderful sunrise. You know, this island looks like...
What? Like a straight bread?
Looks like, it's straight out of...
Or what? What is she trying to say? I have no idea.
Wait, did you just say island?
Outside. It's really outside. I never thought I'd see the sun again.
Wait, you idiot. Where do you think you're going?
But outside. It's the outside.
Calm down, dumbass. The outside isn't what matters.
That's right. Ray, that's a good point. If you'd taken one more step forward, Teruya, you would have become a beehive of organs.
What does that even mean?
This is it. The door is the exit to lead outside, but I can't let you go yet. You could never get out from the exit anyway, so there wasn't really a reason to be investigating. So stop looking outside and look in instead.
She wasn't even on screen. Like, Akane's still in the building, I guess.
How was it? The impression you had when you saw it with your own eyes? Ray guessed before, right? That this wasn't Hope's Peak Academy? That's correct, so congratulations.
Put your congratulations to death.
Do you see why I desperately tried to block the door now?
Ray, why are you so angry? I know it's surprising it wasn't really Hope's Peak, but isn't that kind of what you already expected?
Akane said earlier that this is definitely an island. It's not a matter of whether or not Hope's Peak Academy is here or not. It's that she didn't know exactly where we were.
Besides, if the scale is this grand, it's doubtful whether we'll ever be able to return. Who knows? Maybe we'll be buried in the sea, we'll be buried out in the middle of the ocean with no clue where to go.
Oh, no, don't joke like that! They promised to get us out of here if we found the truth! Hey, didn't you say there was some kind of chopper earlier?
Of course. If you win, I'll send you back safely. Safety guaranteed. Ray, stop. Please refrain from making assumptions.
This isn't an assumption. Also, what happened bringing us to an island we've never heard anything about?
It's up to you to deduce that. How about it? After all, I gave you a big clue by showing you the outside in advance, right? If you'd seen it in the courtroom, it would have been an even bigger shock.
See it in the courtroom? What do you mean?
Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to start the class trial right now. I've shown you everything, so let's do it. Yeah, the last class trials room won't be the usual one, though. I'll do it in a special stage suitable for the final climax.
Special stage? Like a bonus stage? Is there gonna be a car we have to punch?
Yes, but first I'll explain it to you on a broadcast soon. But the entrance to the special courtroom is at the entrance hall. I'll start right away, so please hurry and gather there.
Ah, I see. So you've decided there.
Exciting! See you all later!
Wait a minute, the entrance hall? Isn't that just the doorway?
No, Teruya, this is the doorway.
That door's like a huge vault.
It wasn't it. You just looked outside a moment ago, didn't you? It's on the 5th floor. The outside this door was ground.
Then, that means...
Yes. The place we always thought was the 1st floor wasn't the 1st floor. It was in fact the 4th floor basement. We're right now on the 1st floor, not the 5th.
It was underground? What the hell is this place?
When I saw the exterior of the building for a while, it almost disappeared because it seemed so old, but I could read clearly the 3rd Kissaragi laboratory. That's what it said.
So, after all, this is a Kissaragi Foundation building.
Then, does that mean the Mastermind is part of Kissaragi Foundation?
I don't know. The Kissaragi Foundation is located on an island in the middle of the sea. I wonder if they were working together on this lab. Was the Kissaragi Foundation's research institute changed to Hope's Peak Academy? We've got a lot of information from the newly opened places, but there were really no clues about anything like that.
What are you saying? But then, if we can't reveal the truth, we...
You know what time it is.
Have you waited long enough? Then let's get started! The finale of this long, long story. Everyone, please gather in the entrance hallway. This will be the final stage.
We haven't found anything, and the class trial's about to start. Wait, Surugi! We have Surugi, don't we? If Surugi's got all his memories back, then he'll do something about it.
Would you shut up? You're being naive. Are you never going to grow up?
Sorry.
Don't worry. I have no intention of leaving everything to Surugi. I'm just uncertain. Because the clues that Akane Taira had prepared were not useless at all. It's just the situation itself is so absurd. Now we're in the middle of the ocean, so it all...
We should go anyway. Like it or not, as long as this place is the way out, there's no other place to investigate further. We only have the information we found so far, but we can't...
What?
We have to assume what we think is true.
Sure. Sure.
Close enough. Okay, now is the time to put an end to it. To survive this terrible place, we have no choice but to fight against despair.
Are you gonna make me walk to the first floor?
We were told to meet at the entrance hall. It's not the usual place for class trials. I don't know what's going on, but we should hurry.
Yep, you're gonna make me walk down 5 floors. That's fine. Just in case you wanted any last visits to the washroom, for example. Why did the music change when I went in here? Ominous bathroom. Okay. I like the other music better. I shouldn't have gone in the bathroom. Do you think it'll change if I go... Oh.
Hey. Huh? What was that noise? What is going on? What's going on, guilty guys and gals? Who's there? What? I think it came from the headmaster's office. I have to move quickly because Monokuma called us to the trial. I'm worried, but I need to check this out. It's just a moment.
Makako's alive! Woo! Oh.
Huh? As soon as I entered the headmaster's office, where the sound was coming from, the first thing I noticed was a computer screen that I had examined a while ago. But now it's on. The sound was coming from this computer?
Based on the data obtained from Junko and Oshima, they succeeded in obtaining a sample of their memory manipulation device.
It looked a little blurry at first, but soon something started to appear on the screen, and a voice mixed with mechanical noise began to speak.
Okay, I can't do a voice mixed with mechanical noises, I'm sorry. Memory will be erased. However, I succeeded in developing temporary memory storage based on the data and samples.
What? Whose voice is this? Memory storage device?
Constant frequency, moving, amount, the machine, to some extent minimize, but it hasn't been tested yet. And brain science isn't a field of arithmetic. If any side effects occur, it may happen. For that reason, there's an insurance. A small detonator can be used in order to detonate with an external signal that's included in the machine. I'll load it. If you're looking at this message, this is not ultimate despair. And if she and I can't finish the job, be sure to kill us with...
What? What happened to the screen? I think I heard something really important, but there was so much noise I couldn't understand it properly. I have no idea what purpose or even how this message was coming through. I can't help it. I don't have time to delay here.
Oh, the thing came back on. Watch out. Junko Enoshima. Oh, it's Yamato. Okay.
Watch out for Utsuro.
Utsuro? Wait, more importantly than that, who are you?
I don't know who's looking at this right now. I don't know when I'll disappear. It could be a miracle that I can express my own intentions this way. That's why I'm only going to say what I have to. No matter what happens, you have to stop Utsuro.
Someone's shadow suddenly appeared on the screen. I didn't know what he was talking about, but his silhouette was familiar, and his voice, I'd heard it somewhere.
I don't know what the situation is right now, but being able to speak with this level of intelligence means I'm no longer in this world.
Wait, I have no idea what you're talking about. Who in the world are you?
Now, I don't even know what happened to the memory storage device, or what happened to my friends. What I'm trying to say is, this is not over yet.
What? They can't hear me.
You could say I'm the vaccine overlaid on a virus program. The very existence is a product of coincidence. There's nothing I can do about this, but I might as well do as much as I can. I'll try to pass the information I've gathered as far as I can. Utsuro was found in the overwritten data. If anyone is listening, Utsuro is...
Wow, I wonder who Utsuro is.
Huh? Hey, what's wrong? No matter how much I waited in front of the computer, I shook the monitor, but the unidentified voice wouldn't come out anymore. I don't know what kind of communication or program that was just now, but I feel like I've heard an incredibly important piece of information. Memory storage device. Utsuro. Utsuro. Is that someone here? No. There's a possibility it might not be a human, but it seems whatever it is, we have to stop it. Even if you tell us to suddenly stop it like that, their identity is unknown. The possibility it could be some kind of trap from the mastermind can't be ruled out either. Still, it was such a familiar voice.
Actually, I sounded more like this most of the time, but it's alright.
Watch out for Utsuro. 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 Why can I have everything I want? Why can I do everything as I think? What am I living for? Why am I in despair?
You're late, Yuki.
Sorry, I was looking into something for a minute.
Oh, I thought you ran away.
Ran away where? You mean through the door on the 5th floor? If I went out that way, I'd die.
If it's the entrance door, you guys didn't know, did you?
Are you saying you did? And it sounds like we knew the identity of this building before we'd lost our memories. Thank you. That helped me further my reasoning.
Well, even if we don't want it, everything is going to be revealed soon. I'm fine. We can do this, because Surugi knows everything, so there's nothing to be afraid of. Teruya, I don't know what I don't know. Why'd you gotta go saying that? Give me some false hope, man.
Everyone seems to have gathered at the entrance hall, and the trial preparations are almost complete. Shall we begin? You all, enter through the huge door in the entrance hall.
Enter? How are we gonna open that huge door?
Tweet, 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 tweet. Yeah, it's just gonna open on its own. That's kind of fun. I think that's been my favorite twist so far. Maybe because I didn't know about it in advance, but the idea that it's underground and as we've been going up, we've actually been going to the surface, and like the first floor we were down underground. I kind of like that. And then the entrance door is the final trial room. Kind of cool.
It opened! Oh!
What are you surprised about? If the door from the 5th floor was the same, you wouldn't be surprised that this, or you shouldn't be surprised that this one would open.
Well, yeah, but sometimes I've been imagining leaving through this door for so long. Anyways, we better get on ahead and begin our discussion. Once the trial begins, we can say whatever we need to.
At first, I thought this was just a place for our escape, but in fact, it was a door leading to somewhere deep on the 4th basement level. Can we escape from here only when we pass through this gate and uncover the truth in the last class trial? In a sense, going through this door doesn't mean escaping.
Well, no. Okay. I feel like that's more supposed to be,
In a sense, this door is our escape.
like, you know, because clearing the trial is their escape. Anyway.
Finally, it begins. We've been through a lot of sacrifice and a lot of despair. The time has come to finish this.
Utsuro. There's a secret dialogue if you completed the free time events of any of the survivors. Also, the memento machine has been moved to the top right side of the room for the final trial. Oh, cool. There's a secret dialogue? Where? Fire hydrant. Cool. Actually, I didn't complete any of the free time events on my save file. I forgot about that, because none of them were translated. So I guess we don't get that.
Yuki, there's nothing I can say until the trial begins. But, yeah, I guess I can say this. We're going to escape here, all of us together. Don't give up hope. We'll survive.
What do you want me to say? Let's do our best. Let's believe in hope. Those words don't really suit me. Even if this is the last time, I'm not going to say anything like that. So keep your mind focused and concentrate on the trial. Still, I never thought I would end up fighting alongside you all like this. Let's make sure to survive together. I never thought I'd find myself fighting alongside a dwarf, you know? You know that meme? I don't know how it ends. Sorry. But that does not mean I'm acknowledging you, so don't get me wrong. You'll always be incompetent.
You haven't called me that for like 3 chapters. 2 chapters.
Yuki, we can do this. This is the last terrible class trial.
Well, for us... Well, actually, no, not for us either. Well, for one of us. Anyway.
Our survival over the masterminds. Satsuki's, Harihiko's, and the wishes of everyone who died. Let's go! I'm ready!
Am I ready? I guess I'm ready. I really don't want to replay any parts of the final trial. But I don't know. We'll see.
Now then, let's go. Beyond this door lies the way to the final class trial.
Oh, like we actually get an elevator scene.
This is...
A dead end?
The elevator goes up. What?
Ah! This was an elevator!
It's going up. Normally the elevator during the class trials went down.
Everything's backwards. I don't like it.
It felt different from the usual trials, but the mood didn't change. The tension when heading to the courtroom, a space of heavy silence that embraced our individual thoughts.
I actually really like that the final trial has a different courtroom that's like in a totally different place. Like, I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have 2 of them for no reason other than theatrics, but I mean, that's what these games are about. They're about theatrics. And I also like that it's at the top floor. I mean, you know.
And we finally set foot in the final trial.
I thought the whole thing was like up, like windows over the entire area. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see.
This is...
There are 2 thrones. These guys are so stupid.
Yeah, and we'll have thrones, and we'll be awesome.
That's like the most teenage thing ever.
You rule the world now. Shouldn't we have, like, thrones or something?
You know?
Come here, everyone. This is our final trial.
On the rooftop?
Sort of. To be exact, this is the observatory. Isn't it nice to have a panoramic view?
See, it is all the way around.
Oh, the first view when I come here is the courtroom.
You'll soon find out when you see the courtroom. So this is what you meant.
I guess it's better to show it to you first rather than having you all come up here and realize it once you realize that we're surrounded by the sea, right? It's not so shocking anymore, is it?
It was nothing from the beginning anyway, because we're gonna win, and we're gonna get out of here. Hey, wait a second. What is that? That monitor.
Yes? What can I do for you?
Oh, what? What are you doing in a monitor, man? He isn't coming to the courtroom this time?
What are you talking about? I'm right here. Who didn't come?
Mr. Monokuma, what you've shown so far is fake, and in a way, you can't say that... I guess you could say this is the original Monokuma.
I see. Someone. I mean, I know who it is. But for some reason, it's gone. I'm so sorry. I remember the Queen of Scarves part. Anyway, that's the first thing I see when I look at the chat now. So that's what's in my mind, I guess. They were like, oh, so you mean like when the factory, or no, when Monokuma shuts down, the facility shuts down. No, you mean when the facility shuts down, Monokuma shuts down. Which, I mean, to be fair, is far more accurate, right? Because it's not Monokuma that's the facility, it's the facility that's powering Monokuma. But now it makes sense why, because everything was controlled by the AI in this computer, so if the facility shuts down, the AI can't control all the little Monokuma bodies. Original Monokuma?
Well, it's not that strange anyway, so don't worry about it. In the class trial this time, Mr. Monokuma and I will also participate. Still have to use your reasoning, Monokuma. Oh, right. Go to your seats without arguing, one by one. I want to start so quickly now. Now that I think of the climax soon, my body's heating up to the point where I can barely stand.
No, I can't do his voice.
That's how it'll happen, so everyone hurry up and move it. The fact that I appeared in this form means I'll do everything in my own power.
Cool. Excellent. Boom, 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 boom.
Now, I'm not the judge in this trial. I'm just another person. No, rather, you should treat me like a bear.
Indeed, it's the last one, and Monokuma's increased the trial seats a little bit to free up some space. Thanks to thanks to that, Mr. Kissaragi's seat was also created.
Sorry, that's so hard for me to get used to.
Well, he was already dead, so it's a seat for a portrait.
You rotten being. Don't disrespect Yamato.
Scary. Mr. Kinjo, you're very elated now that your ban's been lifted, aren't you? Wonderful. Everyone seems to be prepared. Let's get started right away.
I still can't believe it. This is Akane. The Akane who had been my strength. And now I have to fight her. Fighting and overcoming despair. We have to survive until the end with everyone.
The classic.
Yeah, for everyone. We have to survive for everyone who's died.
No music? I feel like there should be music.
The truth is waiting right in front of us with the door wide open. Hope, despair, the final fight where neither side can back down. That's how the final class trial opens. A life-threatening judgment, a life-threatening lie, a life-threatening betrayal, a life-threatening discussion, a life-threatening excuse, a life-threatening class trial.
I feel bad for ending it here, but I'm gonna have to. I don't want to do part of the trial over just for like 20 more minutes of gameplay. What can I do? I want to do that, but I can't. I was like, well, I could do the tier list of the characters, but this is like the final moment for 5 of them. I can't do the full tier list yet. I guess I could do everybody else. People would stick around for that, right? It's been a long time since I've done a tier list. I guess that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Okay, so I painstakingly, it took me 2 minutes, recreated the tier list I made way back for Straw 2. Seems how this one has all the characters in it. Because I feel like, I might as well put them in one thing and rank them against each other. I have to make a few adjustments, though. First, Teruya's going down a tier. I love Teruya. But, I feel like because he basically died off screen, I don't think I can put him in perfect. And Shinji's going into pretty good. He didn't really have that much going on, but he was good for what he was. And then I'm going to move Hajime down here, because I think Emma does far better than Hajime. Like, she's got a better motive and a funner case. So yeah, that's the changes I'm making. Everything else is staying the same. So now we've got all the DRAs to add to it. Obviously, Yuki, Surugi, Teruya, Rei. There's no Mastermind Akane, which is a little annoying, but Akane. These 5 might change depending on how they go in the final trial. I have a general idea of how it's going to go. Also, obviously, spoilers. Maybe I'll say that beforehand in like a little spoilers blurb. But yeah, spoilers for stuff that's about to happen in the game. It'll be at the very end, but it's on screen, so I can't really help that. I'm sorry. So yeah, let's start with Yukimeda. Do I like him better or worse than his appearance in Straw 2? It really depends on what happens in this final trial, kind of. I'll leave them on par for now. We'll see. They're both kind of generic. They're just whatever. Lucksters. I think playing as Yuki is far less interesting than playing as Sora, but I don't think that's necessarily fair. Just because, like, Sora has a more fun internal monologue. But, I mean, I guess that is part of being a character. But they are very similar, which of course makes sense. Look at how much paler Straw 2 Yuki is. That's funny. I mean, it's just because the sprites are colored differently, but yeah. Man, this is giving me such good memories. I'm gonna have to talk about that later. Okay, Surugi so far. You know I'm a Surugi hater. I think I'll put him in... I'll average it out and go pretty good. Because he has a lot of good moments. Like, I like the ballroom stuff where he just goes wild. And I like his very early stuff where he has, like, a motive with Akane. But this chapter, I've not really been a fan of him. And he got, like, knocked out for a long time. Like, he basically wasn't a character at the Chapter 4 trial. And then after that, he was in a coma for an entire chapter. And now he's back, and he's like a totally different guy. And he's much less interesting. Yeah. I think that's fair for now. We'll see how this final trial goes. Maybe that'll change my mind, but we'll see. Teruya... I think he goes here. I think he goes into just okay. I forgot. I have to announce it because people are listening to just audio, perhaps. I think he has to go into just okay because for a lot of the game, he was mostly just there. I mean, I like him because I like older Teruya a lot. And I'd make jokes featuring him. But if I this is like my first appearance of him, he would have been like a... Oh, wait, I'm looking for Straw 2 people. He would have been like a Yuri. Despite Yuri going on like the first chapter. But he's honestly like... He's a character that I would totally just kind of forget about. Almost like a background feature. Iroha. Kind of like Iroha. They fill a similar role, right? Except he's not cute. He's more annoying than cute most of the time. But his turnaround is very nice, and I'm glad he does have a turnaround at the end because of Harihiko. It's a bit of a shame that it had to be at the cost of Harihiko, but, you know. It's so we can have Teruya in the next game, and that's great. Rei... I'll put Rei on the same level as Surugi, but for very different reasons. Whereas Surugi has high highs and low lows, I feel like Rei is pretty middling the entire time. Like, oh, she's the smart one. Cool. Awesome. As a rival, I never really bought it, you know? Like, say what you will about Byakuya, right? Because Rei is clearly a Byakuya spin-off, we'll say. But Byakuya at least made an impact when he did some terrible stuff. Like, you know, hanging up Chihiro's body just to see who was smart, or being cruel to Toko all the time. You know, like, Rei doesn't have connections to the group. I say this a lot because it's something it goes over your head. And then you're like, oh, that's why I don't care about them, because they weren't connected to anybody. Teruya had the same problem for a long time, right? Teruya wasn't really connected to anybody. And then Harihiko's death just shocks him so much that he is able to... And then that connection is formed. You're like, oh, Teruya's doing this for Harihiko. And then it's cool. But Rei doesn't have that. Like, Rei never got invested in anybody. And I guess it's supposed to be sort of part of her character. Like, I know that she does care about them, but she never, like, made a friend. Like... I can't say that because of these Straw 2 spoilers, and some people haven't seen it probably. But like a certain other character in Straw 2 who's very the same archetype as Rei, but goes out earlier, has someone who's cloyingly trying to be their friend. And I feel like that makes them slightly more interesting, because at least they have a connection in the group. And then that connection actually pays off, too, which is good. And, you know, that's why Rei's only in pretty good. I could put her in just okay, but I'm not going to, because she serves her purpose. Akane... I think Akane has to go into underused. Isn't that weird? The mastermind of the game. I mean, to be fair, most of the masterminds are pretty underused. The exception being, of course, Stratu's favorite guy there. But I complained about this a lot because I like Akane and I want to like her. But she had chapter 2, and then she fell off the map for 3 chapters, and then at the end of chapter. Like the beginning of chapter 5, she's this... No, that's chapter 5 is Mikako. So the end of chapter 5, yeah, it's 3 chapters. Jeez. End of chapter 5, essentially she's got this different character thing going on. But until then, she really doesn't have anything. And in chapter 4, right, we've talked about this a billion times, but for the people that aren't watching me respond to comments, Chapter 4 really felt like there was going to be something there because she was having this argument with Yuki about, like, their differing morals on the situation. About giving up and all of that. But it lasts, like, 10 minutes. Like, literally. It was so short. It happens the like, first day, like, daily life day. And then once they get trapped in the ballroom in the second daily life day, they solve it. And it just feels like that could have been such an interesting thing to do in chapter 4, right? You're trapped in the ballroom. Surugi's already not talking to you. And then suddenly Akane isn't talking to you either. And everybody's stressed because of this, like, situation with the food. And, you know, they can't make it better at that certain point because they are at each other's throats because of the food thing. But no, it just gets resolved in 3 seconds and doesn't have any consequence. And because of that, Akane doesn't have much consequence for a lot of this game. Which is so sad because she's so good in Straw 2. Anyway. There are flashbacks in Straw 2, but still, she's so good in Straw 2. Yamato Kissaragi. I'm not going to... Well, I might use the bad tier for one character. Nobody's going to argue with putting Yamato Kissaragi in underused, right? Like, I know he's the Mukuro of this game. And it is a fun idea to have a new character introduced at the very end of the game. It's a fun thing. It's something I really appreciate in Your Turn to Die, which is a game that's constantly introducing new characters. That's also a sort of murder mystery, sort of. Not really, but sort of. And it can be really cool because you have the established group dynamic and then you add this new character in and it shakes everything up. The problem is, Yamato didn't shake anything up. Like, he only impacted Mikako, and that was pretty much it. And the problem is he didn't impact Mikako in a particularly interesting way. He actually kind of crippled her character, which kind of sucks, but maybe we'll just talk about her right now. I'm going to put her in just okay. When I read through the plot synopsis of this game, I felt so bad for Mikako. She was going to be my favorite character, but alas, it wasn't to be. When she started getting going... What chapter was that? Chapter 3? Because that was after Ayame. So it must have been chapter 3, like when she saved Akane from slashing herself up. That was like, okay, finally, Mikako's getting somewhere. This is the Mikako that I liked from the, the wiki sort of thing. But then she just kind of fades in the background again. And the worst part about it is that chapter 5 is her chapter. And what does she do in it? Nothing! And I get the reason why. It's interesting that she can't speak about certain things because there's this thing in her brain that'll explode her brain if she talks about it. Cool. But why is she just excluded from every conversation? It really feels like it should be like a Sakura moment, you know? Like it's begging to be a Sakura moment where this person who's known more than she let on for the entire game, probably, but couldn't talk about it because of a certain circumstance, is finally willing to open up to the group and then dies. Like, it, you know? And like her final wish is, you know, don't fight each other because you're supposed to be friends. Like, she feels like she should have been the Kyoko, right? I'm not wrong about that. And part of me, you know, part of me feels like the reason she gets sidelined so often is because of goddamn Surugi. But it's fine. I really thought, okay, when Chapter 5 benched Surugi, I thought, okay, this is so Mikako can come into her own. And then, you know, she doesn't, so. I still feel bad for her. I just wish she got to do some more stuff. Next is Satsuki Irinami. I think this is maybe going to be the only character that ends up in perfect from this game. And that's still a bit of a stretch. She's certainly on the lower end. But she's got something interesting going on. Oh my god, it's crazy. The twins from Straw 2 and Nikke are in here for very similar reasons. They just have something interesting that they contribute to the game. Even though, for some parts of the game, they don't really do much, right? Like, who really cared about the twins until they got their starring chapter? Probably not that many people. And it's probably the same with Nikke. I mean, I liked him because he had a funny hat, but other than that, you know, there wasn't much there. And Satsuki's kind of the same. Funny hat. She's just the comic relief character. And then suddenly, oh, she's pretty cool. And she's got an interesting murder plot. And I like it. Okay? I just like it. Next is Mitch. Okay, here's my thing, right? In the original tier list, I didn't actually have a bad tier. I only had underused, because generally, I didn't think any of the characters were actually poorly written. They were just underutilized. And it's hard, because sometimes it feels like those are the same thing, right? Like, should I put Mikako in bad because she didn't get to do anything? I don't know. It's hard to say. Should I put her in underutilized? I feel like she's better off than Yamato and Akane, honestly. At least there's intrigue about her. Yeah. Anyway, I'm debating putting Higa in bad tier. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. He's a plot device. That's pretty much it. He doesn't contribute much of anything. Like, if he was a huge asshole to everybody, like, all the time, and you're like, oh, can this guy just die? And then he does. That would be one thing. But he's, like, basically a background character, and then he's a huge asshole, like, 3 seconds before he dies. So, I think I'm going to put him in bad. I don't think anybody will be mad about that, right? Oh boy. I'm looking at the rogues gallery we got coming up here. This is not Kyokomaki. This is Kyokomaki. I almost did the wrong thing. Kyokomaki is an underused. I mean, she's the first dead, so it kind of makes sense, but what can I say? And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. She has like one moment that's supposed to like endear you to her, where she's like, "We all gotta be friends," and then she dies. I feel like, you know, first trial victims need to have something more going on usually, but at least she had one moment, you know. Anyway, next is Kizuna Tomori. Got it. Haha. Is it wrong to say that she's forgettable? It feels like Mitch, right? Like, if she's supposed to be an asshole, let her be an asshole. But she's not. She just, like, pretends to be nice. And then kind of stabs somebody in the back. But, like, not very dramatically. And then she dies. Like, I feel if she was the villain of her case, she would have been a lot better off, you know? Like, if she was just this is what Mitch should have been, you know? Like, an unapologetic killer. And I know Mitch is kind of like that, but, like, he didn't try to manipulate people. And I feel like that's what Mitch should have been. Like, she should have been the first one to die then. And then Mitch could have been something else, but I'll put her in okay, I guess. She serves her purpose, I suppose. I might regret that later. I am not putting on the same tier as Mikako. Never mind, she's in underuse. Okay. Kinji Yuhara. This is a tough one for me. Because I feel like a lot of people like Kinji a lot more than I like Kinji. Because I'm all caught up on the thing of like, why did he have to kill 2 people? I still don't understand. It's not like that was his deal with Monokuma. He just had to kill somebody. And then the reveal that the kids were actually dead, I feel like is a little bit too much, you know? Like, I don't know. It feels a little corny. I think I'm going to put him in pretty good. He's close to inching his way into well done. Actually, you know, I'm going to put him in well done. I think the problem with this game is that it feels like a lot of the characters' voices are very similar. Like Rei, Kinji, Surugi, Mikako, they're all the smart ones, right? And that's a hard thing to deal with 16 characters. Trust me, I'm trying to do it right now. It's a hard thing to deal with. But it feels like Kinji's a little underbaked. Which can sometimes lead him to be feeling more generic than he should be. Because his background is actually interesting, and his philosophy is kind of cool. And him challenging Surugi is a cool idea. I just wish he did it more. Surugi needs somebody to put him in his place. Literally, nobody ever does it. If it was this guy, that'd be great. I don't know. I feel like he's more a victim of... instead of a mediocre character who is a benefactor of a good case, he is a decent character who's taken down by a not so good case, in my opinion. But I think it's a cool idea. I wish it was better. Next is Kanata Inori, the ultimate surgeon. I don't know why I said all of that. I feel like people are gonna be mad at me, but I don't care about her. I did all her free time events too, and I still couldn't give a crap. Like, she's like the group doctor, and that's the only thing I remember about her. She was like,
You have to protect your health.
and that's pretty much all I remember. Things would be different if she had, I'm going to say it again, a meaningful connection with any member of the group. Because I feel like her and Kakeru having like a connection before they both die is like just like a logical step to take, but it doesn't happen. So there she sits, I guess. Kakeru is basically the same. He's making me want to move Shinji up, honestly. Back up to well done. I think I'm going to do it. Because he's just a worse Shinji in every way. And he has no connections to anybody in the group. So who gives a crap about him? Nobody! And the ultimate lawyer, and he barely helps in any trials. It just feels like he's a victim of there being too many smart people in this game. Which is a hilarious thing to say in a murder mystery game. But there were too many people willing to solve the mystery. That he just never got a chance to do much of anything. He like brought up 2 points during his entire life span in the game, I think, during the trials. He should have been like a commanding force in the trials and then totally timid in daily life, which is, I think, what they were going for, but he, like, doesn't do that, so... What can I say? Let's do Ayame before Harihiko. Ayame is just okay. We're really filling out a square here. Before her sacrifice for Kane, what character traits did she have? Can anybody name one? Because I don't remember any. Alright, compare that to, like, Straw 2's characters, right? That went out in Trial 1 and 2, despite them not really sticking around for very long, and some of them being in the lower tiers even. I still remember vividly what their character traits were and what they were like. Ayame, I know I did a British accent for her. I just, it's so strange because going from Straw 2 and then back to Draw has been such a weird process because I know where this is going and I know how good it gets, and it's kind of crazy that Draw is the genesis of it all. Because if I played through this game first, I don't know if I would have gone on to the second one, if I'm being honest. Sure, there's some cool ideas in there, but meh. Anyway, here's Harihiko. He's in pretty good. Once again, what trait did he have until he decided to try to take over in Chapter 4? He wasn't allowed to berate Surugi until then, so other than that, he was just a goofball, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I like him as a person. As a character, he's alright. You know? I don't know. At least he has traits, okay? I remember he was kind of cowardly, and he goofed off all the time, but he was, like, sincere, right? But, like, not as good as Satsuki was at doing that. Okay, let's talk about Utsuro. The rest of these people from, like, the frickin' epilogues, I don't care about it all. Who cares about them? Regular Mikado? How could you even rank that guy? I guess you could rank... I never remember her first name. It starts with a K, I know it does. Kurokawa. There's too many K names. Sorry. It's Kokoro. Kokoro Kurokawa. I got it. So it's just Utsuro's. Obviously, we haven't seen Utsuro yet in this game. Utsuro in the second game, I mean, he's a cool plot device. He's not really a character in the second game. So I'm hoping to actually see some more of Utsuro in this one, which I'm assuming we will. But yeah, I think that's my list. It's a shame they didn't include Monokuma, but I know that's because he's not an original character to this. I honestly think this is the worst showing of Monokuma in any game, and that's including V3, in which I absolutely despise his portrayal in V3. He just doesn't have any presence in this game, that's all. In V3, he at least had, like, that one chapter when the Monokubs were finally dead, where he was like, oh, I'm back in charge, and I'm like, oh, okay, Monokuma, okay. And then, he just... doesn't do much with it, but at least for that one chapter it felt like Monokuma was threatening, which is sort of supposed to be the point, but I feel like everybody, including Team Danganronpa, had forgotten that after the first game. Monokuma is also not threatening, but that's actually like the point, which is crazy. I'm just thinking if I want to move any of the Straw 2 characters around. I guess we can compare, okay? We can compare. Let's start with Sora versus Akane. I mean, I don't think I really have to say it. Sora is just way more compelling. And part of that is probably because we're in her head, but also the missing memories thing, and the slow reveal that she's Akane Taira, and then the Call of the Void / Utsuro. Get it? Because of Void. Which is neat. I don't really care for the whole AI thing. I feel like that's kind of a cop-out almost, but just so that like Akane can't go back to her own body and Yuki can get in there instead. But that's fine. That's one mark on an otherwise stunning record. Versus Akane from DRA, who does nothing and then is the mastermind, but still isn't really doing very much. So, wah wah. Let's do Rei versus Rei. Let's do this so they're at least in the same order. I put Rei, Surugi, and Teruya all in the same tier, I realize, which is kind of interesting of me. Now, because Teruya is not up there. Rei in Stratu versus Rei in Draw. She has a heel turn. Like, I know she kind of does in this game too, where she's like, okay, I'll work with you all. But actually going against Surugi in order to try to protect Teruya feels like it should have happened in this game, you know? If she was going to become our leader character over Surugi, then she needed to show some real dedication to us. Like, I know she's giving us information, but she never really softened, you know? I feel like she should have a little bit, just a little bit, and been like, okay, we can actually be friends, but never. And she barely does it in Stratu, but at least she does. And she calls Surugi out on his bullshit. And, you know, that's all I ask. Someone's got to do it. And that's basically the reason I like Surugi and Stratu better, too. It's just a smaller dose of Surugi. So you only get the fun little thing of like, oh, he's a good guy, but he's a bad boy. And then, you know, he butts heads with Rei, and it's pretty nice. It works out. It makes sense. I might... Continuity-wise, I don't really know what's going on with him yet. I guess we'll find out as time goes on. I think somebody hinted that I would find out, which is good, because otherwise I am confused. But I like asshole Surugi better than stand-up guy Surugi, you know? So I'm glad that that's the portrayal in Stratu. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I like that he went further into darkness instead of just stagnating like, you know, he could have. It's nice. I like it. It's a good idea, man. And then Teruya, which is just a total night and day for the most part. And Teruya feels like... So let's give our graphs here. So Rei, she has her introduction, so she's at this like standard point in Draw. And then she kind of perks up in Chapter 4. Or is it Chapter 4? It's Chapter 5. And then it plateaus again. And I'm pretty sure that's where it's going to stay. And then that plateau keeps going into Straw. And then she dies. So there's like a little bump there because of interest. Like, oh, she died. That's crazy. And then it goes uphill when she starts, like, you know, fighting against Surugi. And then it continues to climb until the end of the thing where she's like, okay, well, we're not detaining you, so you can go, Yuruko, you know? I mean, she's the natural fit. It blows my... She's the natural fit to be the next leader of the Kissaragi Foundation, right? Who's earned it completely through skill, you know? Of being this sort of genius person. And even though Surugi took it over after the end of the game, he's obviously not the best fit for it because he's too crazy. He's too radical. That's what it is. Rei's the natural successor to Yamato's philosophy of trying to save everybody, which is, you know, we got that sort of in like flashbacks in Draw so far, but it just feels like the next logical step, and we never really get there, but we got pretty close, so I'll give him that. Surugi's graph is crazy because it spikes up right away because you're like, whoa, this guy's crazy as soon as the first trial is over. And then it sort of levels off. and then it kind of like starts to wane because it's like, okay, I get Surugi's shtick, right? He's, you know, I get it. And then he says some mean things to Akane when you still like her, and you're like, oh, Surugi. Maybe that bumps up your enjoyment a little bit. You're like, oh, he's the bad boy. And then when he starts getting challenged, you're like, oh, is something happening? And he starts to climb again. And then, no, he just goes into a catatonic state. And then, like, the interest drops to 0 for, like, 2 chapters. It's like, I don't care. Surugi might as well be dead. And then he comes back, and there's, like, a bump of interest. And then it's like, And he goes back down to 0 because I don't really care. And then as soon as he shows up in Straw 2, well, okay, let's start out. He doesn't show up at the beginning of Straw 2, despite Teruya and Rei showing up. So you're already interested. You're like, whoa, what's going on with Surugi? And then you find out about the, what is it called? I'm saying godly luck. What is it? You know what I mean. I can't remember the word right now. Heavenly luck. There we go. When you learn that that's fading, you're like, oh, is Surugi dead? And then you see him in the flashback with Soren, and it goes up again, and you're like, oh, he's a bad boy again. And then he shows up in the trial, and he's an asshole, and Rei's fighting him, and then I feel like it just goes through the roof, and he's kind of amazing. He's like the villain. It's crazy. And then Teruya's like a flat line for like the entire game, and then it bumps up a little bit in chapter 4 of Draw, and then he shows up in the second game, and there's another little bump of interest, and then like he's in the game, and it's just a steady upgrowth in Straw 2, because each chapter you learn a little bit more about him, and you feel like you're a little more connected to him than everybody else, which is interesting, and it's so cool. And then he dies, and that's probably where it drops, because you're like, he died off screen, my Teruya, no. But that's just me, maybe. But yeah, I feel like everybody's in their proper place for now. For those of you that have gone through the entire video here, I applaud you. How long is this anyway? We are now above an hour. Okay, cool. I made it. For those of you that have made it this far, I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, and hey, you know, tell me your favorite character in the comments. And then do a little spoiler tag, and then tell me why. Out of either game, tell me your favorite character. And it can be combined. Like, you don't have to split it like I have it here, because that's just what's going on. In the final tier list, I probably won't split it. But, yeah. You tell me what your favorite character, who your favorite character is. If it is one of these people, I'm going to ban you. Okay. Bye.